Okay. So my plan is now to review the course material, and we will have a question and answer session. I have put an old exam in the exam bank, the file of old exams. So you could also ask about some questions there. Um, I think we'll only do like half an hour, so shouldn't we just continue and then not take a break? Is that okay? Okay. So if we look at what is this course about, it's focusing on teaching methods, and I've been really focusing on giving you new methods and also visiting other methods that you used in Greining and Hönnun or software requirements and design, and use it now in connection to other methods. So you are focusing on methods for analyzing, designing, and evaluating software systems, anticipating the user's aspects in software development. Okay, and you have software analysis and design, or the old, this course was taught until I think 2000 or 2003, something. So it's very rare that we get some students that have this background, but I have it there. The learning outcomes are in 3 different groups, and we actually discussed those a week ago. These are the knowledge learning outcomes. And if you take the learning outcomes, for explaining these groups, if you have a hammer, the knowledge learning outcomes is to be able to describe a hammer. This is a hammer, and it is has this round thing there in the front, and it has a wooden thing that you can hold, and so on. That is, so you are supposed to be able to describe these, tell me about it, and you know what it is. Okay? But the other ones, skills, there you are supposed to be able to use the hammer. So you're supposed to be able to use the methods, and particularly these methods, but we actually included more methods in the skill level. So all the methods that you used in the projects are on a skill level. You're supposed to be able to both describe it and use it. And then, know very well the characteristics, the positive things, and so on. And then competences. And if we take the hammer metaphor, then you are able to say, okay, hammer is good for nailing and so on. But if you would like to do, other things, you would use a screwdriver. So you're supposed to know, when should I use the hammer? When is it positive to use it? When is it positive to use other tools? So it's more like stepping back and understanding in what circumstances would I use this method and not that method? What is the positive and negative things? That is the competence. That is the highest level of the learning outcomes. And we have 2 things there. So here you would typically maybe be asked to say positive and negative things about a method, or when would you use this one and when another one, or something like that. So know the advantages and the disadvantages of user-centered design methods. This could be comparing two methods or talking about one. And here it could be choosing one for a particular thing, like you had actually four methods for describing a vision. It was the vision itself, where you have a picture on a paper, but you also had the elevator speeds, you had the contextual analysis. These are all really sort of giving you a big picture. Um, so then you could say, okay, with um which method is most suitable um, in a particular case. We discussed this also quite much. The first one here, we discussed it in connection to Scrum and Agile processes. When would we use the methods for understanding? When would we use the methods for design? So it is really connecting the this the things that you've learned from the methods, using the methods in and starting to sort of look at the holistic view of all the methods and how these can work together. Okay, so how has the course material approached the learning outcomes? If you begin with the skills, you solved 4 projects, group projects, using the methods, and we also used some of those in the project solving classes. And there you were gaining skills. So even though I say, well, okay, I take out their vision, analyze context of use, you perform contextual interviews, affinity diagram, design an interface that is based on an affinity diagram. This is the walking the wall method. And perform formal user evaluation. You also actually performed informal evaluations. You did a workshop, you did a story map. So we used more methods. And I would like, and you used also personas, the method personas. You used scenarios. So I would like you to be able to both describe and use all these that you used in the projects. Mm-hmm. So um, here we are talking about analyzing comparable website. What are we doing when we do that? What is the method about? Yeah, you looked at the methods. You looked at each method. You checked things. You checked the positive and negative. You did an overview of them. Sometimes you could be checking maybe some functionality. Is this functionality in all the websites? Like we saw in the example from the 3 designers that we checked on Thursday. Okay, so this is the skills. This is an easy thing because you have it's easy to understand what you are supposed to be able to do. You have to be able to describe the methods and describe it in detail. So you could maybe say, okay, if you were doing a formal evaluation for the RU web, how would you describe, how would you conduct formal evaluation for that? So you would say then, I have to first find users, make the tasks, and then the conduction itself, you would do the interview, you would ask them to do the, so you could describe in detail how you would do this, a formal evaluation for a particular example. Okay? So these are typical questions for skills. Describe what a affinity diagram is and what data is used when making it. I think this is actually an example from the exam I did put in there. And then describe a method that is used based on an affinity diagram and describe the outcomes of using that method. Describe what an affinity diagram is. What would you say here? As a, yeah. Okay. So the question is, can we answer in Icelandic or English? You can use either language you want. And actually, you could use Icelandic for one question and English for the other. I wouldn't like you to switch, word by word. I would like you to do like at least one sentence in the same language. And you could put it in brackets if you don't remember the Icelandic name. You could say something, affinity diagram. I call it skildleika schema, but maybe you don't understand or yeah, right. You can do that because these are the names of the methods that we have been using all the way. So that's okay. But if it could be hard for me if you're having a sentence, you have it mostly in Icelandic, but then few English words. That could be a little bit hard. So I don't mind. I understand both. Okay. Yeah. What is a affinity diagram? Yeah, it could be. Affinity diagram is, yeah, I would say actually a structure. Yeah, grouping of, yeah. And then what data is used when making it? It's actually, maybe you should start by answering that. The data used when making it is, yeah, right. Interview results, and the affinity diagram is a structure or grouping of that data in a tree structure. So you can see what is related and get an overview of all the data from the interviews. This would be a very nice answer. Describe a method that is used based on affinity diagram. Walking the wall, yeah. Describe the outcomes of using that method. From the visitors. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and there were particular outcomes. There was design ideas that you were out for, especially. So you were actually doing the walking the wall to gather design ideas because you were starting design. So that is what I'm really focusing on there. And when I say describe a method, I'm actually not asking you to say walking the wall. I'm saying I would ask, like you to ask, a method based on the affinity diagram is walking the wall where you ask, so you have a description, not only the name. I sometimes say name a method, and then it's okay to just say the name. Okay, but if I say describe, I would like you to do more than just the name. Okay, it means leasing. It's 2-3 sentences at least that is described for me. So now I'm teaching you how to take the exam. What do I mean by this name or the word here? Yeah, describe 3 things that characterize the method heuristic evaluation. Okay. Okay. So heuristic evaluation. Yeah. Okay. So this would probably not be a question for you guys because you haven't used this. So this is not a skill question for you. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I you have some slides on heuristic evaluation, and I would actually like you to know what it is. So I would like you to it would be in this category. I've told you about it, and you should be able to say more or less what it is. But maybe this is I don't know if this is maybe too detailed. But okay, heuristic evaluation is a method. It's an expert evaluation method. So that is one that characterizes it. There are guidelines used. So the expert uses guidelines to evaluate. That is the second one. And the third one is that the evaluators, they first evaluate separately, and then they gather and gather the results, and the results are usability problems. But uh, the you know thing that really characterizes the method is that it's based on guidelines. You choose the guidelines yourself. It could be 10 guidelines that you really think are good. You take these guidelines and you go through the interface. Is there, like, is there a consistency in the user interface? So you go through all the interface, looking through, is there some inconsistency? If you find that, you have a problem. Or you can register a usability problem that the users will probably have. Okay. But so this is actually an example of the difference, because in the course in the spring 2015, they also used heuristic evaluation. That was in the fourth project. So then I could ask them more detailed about it. You see? So there's always some difference. This is why I was a little bit afraid of putting the old exam out, because I always change we didn't do story mapping then. We didn't do workshop then. And we did heuristic evaluation, which you didn't. So I can't keep it the same. Yeah, Elvar. Yeah. Well, you should know what it is. You should know what you should be able to describe it, but maybe and oh, yeah, the data gathered is usability problems. Maybe having a 10% question is too much because you haven't really focused on it. So this is the reason why it was 10%, because they used it. Yeah. But you should be able to tell me what it is. So maybe I would say, describe one thing that characterizes heuristic evaluation, and I I would then pick that it is an evaluation based on guidelines. That is really what makes it different from something else. My students have had loads of trouble with this word characterizes. So first, when I had an exam and having this word in many questions, I got so many questions. What do you mean by this word characterizes? And I was like, what? So Uh, a characteristic is something that makes somebody special. Makes something special. It's different from everything else. So, like, if you have many methods and you want to tell what characterizes this one, you have to tell me what is different. What is the special thing that you do here that you don't do in the other methods? Yeah. You use it all the time. Like in the exam, I was trying to tell them, okay, so what characterizes me is that I have red this, like I had red hair at least. I have like golden bronze something hair. I have green eyes. I'm not that tall. These are my characteristics. And if you put all these together, you can say, oh, this is Marta. Um, so sometimes you need more than one that really makes it different from everything else. Okay, competences. How have we met those in the learning outcome? These learning outcomes in the course. We discussed the integration of user-centered design methods in Scrum. So we discussed which UCD methods are suitable in the different phases of Scrum and Agile processes. We also, I introduced several software development processes, and we discussed also how UCD could be integrated in RAP and other processes. The double diamond is also for understanding of, in what phase are we and when are we using each method. And I've also showed you results from research to know the advantages and disadvantages of users and design methods. And now I put all the papers on the additional material page. Wait. Yes. The old exam. hmm Yeah. So, um, yeah. Ye- these papers, you could use them as an additional material. Uh, if we take this, yeah, here. So the the reading material is really all the slides and then the book, and then you have this additional material, and we've discussed those in the lectures, and I would use the slides to see the emphases. So I you know everything that we have covered and we've discussed is you could come as a question in the exam, but I won't take something from the conclusion of the paper if I haven't really talked about it or we haven't discussed it. Some of the papers we visited several times, some only mentioned briefly. So I would really check the emphasis in the slides to see how likely is it and how big question could come. If we've only like mentioned it, it's on one slide, it's okay, it could come, but not as a big question, not as a 20% question. I'm not mean like that. Yeah. Yes. That was a full lecture almost on that. So. And the digital prototypes, it was actually half of the problems or 8 of the problems were found in the paper prototype versus 20 in the digital. So there was a difference. but it was only in some categories. In some categories, it was fine, like in the wording and in the structure, but for the more, no, for the design, it wasn't. So, knowing the essence, that would be, that would be nice if you like understand what is the message here. You have a question? Aha. No, I haven't had that before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Allt í lagi. Yeah. Okay. So, um, yeah. So there was a question about the structure. I would think it would be similar. I don't know if there will be only. So I had like a smaller questions, and these were 6%. Maybe these will be some of them 4 or 2 or something, but I think I would have these categories of smaller, medium, and large questions. And if the smaller will be multiple choice or one liners, like, or something, I haven't really decided. Okay, but I really try. What I will try to do is really give you questions that fit the learning outcomes. So, um, questions from these is more like, what is this? What is this? What is this method? Tell me about the hammer. It's more like, what is a hammer? Um, and then here, for the methods you've used, it's more, it could be more thorough, it could be longer, like 10% or 20% for those, because you've used it, you should understand what it is. Yeah, so we went through this competences, we were there, and these are typical questions for competences. So describe, when is it better to conduct informal evaluation with users than formal evaluations in a software project, and give 2 reasons why. What would you say here? You've done both. Mhm. Okay, so you're saying here, formal evaluations are better. More detailed. Yeah, right. Yeah. I would say also that formal evaluations are better when you really want to measure something, and you had measurable goals, you had all this formality, so you were doing it in a more structured way. So you're you know having more detailed and quantitative data. Um, when is it better to conduct informal evaluation? When is it better to do a formal evaluation? It's if you need the quantitative data, um, then it is actually better. Yeah, it could. Yeah. And then the other one, when is it better to conduct informal evaluations? Okay, so informal evaluation is maybe better if you have just the first ideas. You want only design ideas. You're not heading for quantitative. If the time is 1 minute or 1.5, you're more on, does the whole idea, uh, is it okay? So I would say that informal evaluation is really, it's better to use that this collaboration of when you are in the first phases, you have a paper prototype, and you also did, yeah. Yes, right. Yes, there are one right answer. No, there is not a list of, it's more like a judgment, but you have the characteristics of what is a formal evaluation and what is an informal one. And if you say, okay, it's better to use an informal one if you want to gather quantitative data, that's not right, because you're not doing that. So you see, but if there is a log, you don't only have to say this and this, and then you get the right answer. If you don't do that, so there could be more possibilities of the two reasons than I can think of. So I'm actually, for this, I was judging, is it yeah. And these are the hardest. Actually, it's hardest to make questions for the competences, because these can't be judged. Yeah. The the learning outcomes for knowledge, I would like you to have knowledge of several methods for analyzing software. I explained meetings, questionnaires, field studies, and contextual personas to you. So these were the methods that I explained, but not that you didn't use. And also I explained heuristic evaluation, cognitive walkthrough, and 3 types of interviews that you should be able to describe what are. So I would like you to know that these methods are available even though you haven't used them. Knowledge of guidelines for good design of user interfaces. We didn't really dig very deeply into this. This is done more in Greiningarhönnun actually. And I have been actually, this course has been evolving so it fits in the phases before Greiningarhönnun. So you do actually all these activities, and then you know it is a little bit mixed maybe in the third and fourth project here, but like the vision and the things that you did there, these were not done in Greiningarhönnun. These, there you start with you have defined the project, you have decided that you're going to do the project. Okay. So I have been trying to focus on the inception phase, where you have an idea and you don't know if it's good or bad, and if you should go ahead with the system. Yeah, yeah. I explained the interaction styles, and that was for you to, yeah, understand the different things there. And we discussed a little bit metaphors, but I didn't find anything more about this in the slides. And then for the fourth one, we looked at different approaches for integrating users and design in Agile. The model from C, and the other one there where most of the work is done before the actual sprint begins. Yeah, and the typical questions for the knowledge is like, explain what the Rames model is and explain 2 types of purpose. Yeah. Or yeah, this. Okay, so yeah, yeah, this is more like two two reasons, yeah, of using it. That will be better. Yeah. Name to here I say name. That is a typical knowledge question. Name two methods that you did not use in the projects in the course that can be used to gather information of the context of use for a software system, and give a short description of each method. Okay, so these could be meetings, questionnaires, field studies. You did not use these. Okay, yeah. You used questionnaires, yeah, right. You used questionnaires in combination with the formal. You didn't use it as a sort of single method or, independent method. What? Nej, einmitt. Nei. Yeah, I think I would give you okay for saying questionnaires because we didn't really use it as an independent method, but you used it in combination with formal methods, maybe. Formal evaluation, I mean. Okay. Yeah. Name two methods that you did not use in the projects in the course that can be used to gather information of the context of use. I would say, okay, the two methods I would like to name are meetings and field studies, or meetings and contextual personas, maybe. And then, then I've named two methods, meetings and contextual personas. And give a short description of each method. So meetings, that is a method where people gather on the same place and same time, usually for like 1 hour, and they have an agenda that they are going to discuss or maybe decide on some things. These are meetings. Contextual personas are used to um, okay. No, that was not a good example because field studies is better because contextual sorry, contextual personas are not used to gather information. They are used to describe the information actually. So for gathering the information, you would say field studies. You could say. And field studies are typically done that you go into the field and you observe people. You could use long time. You could use a week being there and observing. So that would be like a short description of field study. You are observing a group of people. It could be for a long time. So and you're not really interacting. You're mostly observing. But I think maybe when we had this exam, we had more methods that we went through that were like introduced and not used. So for this question, you don't have that many answers. Okay, learning material. Like I said, it's all the slides. And then the chapter 1 and 2, we didn't go through that very thoroughly, but I think it would be nice for you to read quickly through it. But then chapter 3, 4, and 5, they explain contextual interviews. Chapter 8 is on affinity diagram, 9 personas, 10 is on walking the wall, and 11 vision. So these are all, it's good to read. And then chapter 13 and 14 are on paper prototypes and prototype interviews. So you used all the methods and you're supposed to be able to describe those. Yeah, and then I described that now you have the papers and you could open them and check, if you don't understand something in the slides, you could have this as a reference. It's good for you to have something that not only the slides. So that's more the motivation here. Okay. This was the overview of the projects. You're supposed to do 10 out of 12 of the individual assignments. And I was checking yesterday, and there were, I think, more than 40 that uh, haven't done all of them. But there is one out there now, the questionnaire, and I would really like you to all answer that. Yes, right. That is an extra one. That is the 13th month. So I'm inviting you to take part in a user testing session on the 15th of November for paper prototypes for half an hour, and you could get 1% for that. Just taking part in it. And then we have the final exam. It's 40%, and you have to get 5 for being able to pass the course. Yeah. Yeah. I will probably come twice there and answer questions. And it's very nice to go to the exam, and then everybody are so excited to ask questions. I think it's a little bit late, but it's nice to have some of the questions at least. Yeah. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yep. Let's put it up. Okay. What am I talking about? Prova banki. What am I talking about? Okay. Here. And you said what? Question number 4. Okay. Name 3 types of links that can be used by the user on a website. This is probably something that we had then, but not now. Yeah. This is always the problem. I've probably used some of the design something. Yeah. Whoa. Okay, so you've really done the Rames framework. So this is actually, you could do this. Data gathering for context of use. Name, yeah, we did that in the slides. The double diamond, we've looked at it many times. Explain the objectives for the activities in each of the diamonds. And then 4 was something that we did before, but we haven't really focused on now. There's nothing in the slides. Research results. Okay, name 3 UCD methods that got the highest rating from professionals in Sweden from the survey study conducted in 2012. What do you think about this question? Not fair. Okay. I've shown you this 4 or 5 times. And we've discussed it. So I think actually this is a fair question, but there you go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So, but okay. So what I have been emphasizing on by showing you this is really, okay, what do they think is important? And I've been also showing this to, you know, so you understand that it's really important to learn these methods. And what the most or the highest rated method was formal user testing, remember. uh, and they don't use it that frequently, so that was like, okay, they think it's a very good method but they don't use it frequently. Why is this? And it's because they don't think they have time or money, and they think it's hard. I think maybe sometimes they don't have the knowledge, or and they also think that they then need to have 10 users or 12 users, and that's why they don't have time. But having 4 users is better than nothing. So sometimes I think they are dropping it because they think it's a bigger work than it actually is. Okay, so that was one of the methods. The second one was informal evaluation, what you also emphasized here. And the third one was workshops, and you learned how to do that here. So I am also showing this to you to let you see that professionals out there think that the methods we are emphasizing in the course are good methods. So I have been using it through the course, showing you this. And because I've been showing you this at least 3 or 4 times, then I thought it was fair to ask, just only name it. Just say, tell me the 3 methods. Yeah, but this was, I know it wasn't really easy. But some questions have to be a little bit hard. So you're proud of getting your high degree. Okay, visioning. This was really what we used here in the course. Describe what a vision is, what is it used for, and one benefit of using it. Okay, what is a benefit? What would you say? You've used it. Of doing oh. Mhm. I would actually give you positive remarks for all of them. It's not like he has the right answer in you. So sometimes this is not like rocket science. This is not 2 plus 2. It could be, yeah. What characterizes the visioning, like I have explained it to you, is that it is on paper and it is a picture. So it's not a text, it's visual. So that could be, you could also use that as a, as a benefit. And it's drawn, it's on paper, so it's easy to collaborate, like you say. Yeah. But name one other method that could be used for similar purpose and describe one thing that differentiate that method from visioning. What would you say here? Yeah, right. Very good. And what differentiates it then? Yeah, right. Very good. It's in text. It's like it's verbal. Yeah. Yeah. How about that? Maybe I should have an oral exam, but I've never done that. Yeah, right. Next one, affinity diagram. We've done this. Describe what. describe. We did this in the slides. Heuristic evaluation. Yeah, this was emphasized more. I would like you to be able to describe what it is, but maybe not like I said. Maybe I don't think it's fair for you that it would be a 10% question. And then we had the long, 20% questions. Expert evaluation compared to user evaluation. They did their fourth project was doing both expert evaluation and user evaluation. So it wasn't the same as for you. That this is why I thought it was okay to have this question. But for you, I wouldn't say so because we haven't really emphasized this expert evaluation that much. And then usability and user experience, these are like the fundamental concepts in the course. This is what drives everything. All the methods are based on either making the systems more usable or extending the user experience or both. You know. No. Yeah, right. It's in your slides. It was also in Grinning and Hunnen. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the definition I use all the time. The extent to which a product can be used by specified users, what do you say? Um, mm, this, so here I'm asking for a definition from that standard because there can be other definitions, but I am using this definition because it's in the standard. Um, and there are many people, it's in many textbooks and so on. It's not only me. It's there are many people in the area that use the ISO standard for defining usability. Define one measurable goal for each of the three factors. You did this in a project. Each of the three factors of usability and name one method for measuring each goal. Yeah. So like, and there, when you're measuring the satisfaction, I wouldn't say really think it could be, but I would like you to say interviews or questionnaires for the satisfaction because it's an objective thing from the users. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what are the three factors of usability? Let's start there. Do you remember? What is the first factor? No. Effectiveness. The second one is efficiency. Yeah. Yeah. Third is satisfaction. Okay, and then one measurable goal for effectiveness. Just something. A user can finish 3 out of 4 tasks. Okay, this is fine. Okay, efficiency. And a little bit better would be all users can finish because, yeah, but a user is almost, yeah. But this is a better phrasing of it. And then efficiency, yeah. All users can finish a particular task under 2 minutes. Perfect. Okay, all users have fun. Is this a measurable goal? It's too weak, too weak. Nope. Measurable means that you can measure it. How can you know that they had fun? How are you going to measure it? Right. And? Right? Yeah. You could count stars. Yeah. Okay. So all users rate their satisfaction something with 3 stars or more or something. Yeah. Yeah. Because you can definitely say if you have reached it or not. But all users have fun. How are you going to do? You can say you can actually a measurable goal for that would be all users say yes if you ask them if they had fun. Then you can start to count the yeses. But if you only have like, it should be fun, it's too weak. You see the difference, don't you? Good. And then, okay, the methods. Okay, so for efficiency, what is the method? No. Okay. And name one method for measuring each goal. So you have to just say, okay, what is the name of the method for measuring this? User evaluation. Yeah, it is. So yeah, it's better to say usability testing or think aloud is the best answer because that is actually a name of a method. User evaluation, it's more like group of methods. And this also user testing is, it could be formally. What? This is maybe only half because this is actually not a method. It's a group of methods. Here, user testing would probably be one, and this would be definitely be one. Okay. For the second one, efficiency. How would you measure this? Yeah. What is the method? It's think aloud again. Yeah, or user testing like here. Yeah. Yeah. And then for the third one, satisfaction, how would you measure this? There's 3 stars. How would you provide them with the stars? How are they going to tell you about the stars? Yeah, with what? Yeah, that's a questionnaire then. If you have, so the method isn't it a questionnaire or an interview if you ask them orally? That's an interview. If you have it on paper, it's a questionnaire. So that will be, that is typically the methods for measuring the satisfaction. It's an interview. Yeah. Okay, so user testing is actually, if you break it down, it is, then you are using two or three methods. You do an interview first, then you observe, and then you either do an interview or use a questionnaire. But think aloud, it contains all of this. So, you could argue that if you say think aloud here, it's the right thing because think aloud includes an interview afterwards asking about the satisfaction. Yeah. Okay. So we've done B. Third, define the concept user experience and describe 3 phases of user experience as it's done in ISO, the same ISO standard. Whew. What do you think about this one then? Define the concept user experience. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the user's perceptions, how they, how their emotions, how they receive the interface. So usability is more focused. It's on could they solve a task, in what time, and are they satisfied? But user experience is broader. We've talked about this. So it's about the emotions, how they react, how they perceive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so something like that would be enough. Then describe the three phases of user experience. It's the before, during, and after. So user experience is also, you think about it, okay, what are the perception, how do they think about the use system that they are getting, expectations, during the use, how do they feel while using the system, and after use. So it's also broader because usability is more just during the use. You can only measure this while they're using this or right after. But user experience is a broader concept. You can see it in the slides. We had a whole lecture on this, so you should know. Okay. Good luck. Thank you very much for attending the course. I enjoyed teaching you, the guys that are come to the lectures and are willing to discuss with me. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much.